Welcome to News B. Rise in Quebec's COVID cases is no reason to panic. Experts say, Montreal Gazette. What's crucial is how well the province controls outbreaks if it wants to keep businesses and activities running and allow schools to reopen this fall. People enjoy the pedestrian walkway created on Wellington St. in Montreal on Friday, July 24, 2020. Photo by Allen McInnis, Montreal Gazette. The fact Quebec has seen a recent sustained rise in the number of daily COVID-19 cases is neither a surprise nor a cause for panic at this point. Epidemiologists say, what's crucial, however, is how well the province is able to keep a handle on the number of outbreaks if it wants to keep businesses and activities running and allow schools to reopen in the fall. The reopening of schools is something that has huge knock-on effects, said Aaron Strumpf, an associate professor in McGill's Department of Epidemiology, Biostatistics and Occupational Health. For all our hand-wringing about reopening the economy and getting out of this recession. If parents can't go to work, you've got a real problem. In late June, the number of cases in Quebec finally dropped to less than 90 a day. A stark contrast to the prolonged period during which 800 cases or more were reported daily. But last week, the daily tally starting creeping up, and has been ranging between 140 and 180 cases this week. Given Quebec's gradual reopening after months of lockdown, the increase was expected, said David Kaiser, a preventive medicine specialist with Montreal's Public Health Department. We actually had quite a few weeks of a honeymoon period after deconfinement, and I think that speaks to the fact that the vast majority of the population really respected social distancing and hygiene guidelines, he said. Quebec's recent increase is because of small outbreaks in a multitude of areas, including bars, workplaces, house parties, healthcare establishments, gyms and sports gatherings. While outbreaks in bars have been a focus, most have been relatively small, with only a couple cases at each establishment. Kaiser said. The government's decision to reopen economic and activity sectors before making masks mandatory probably also played a role in the hike in cases, said Caroline Quach, who is in charge of the infection control unit at Saint-Justine Hospital and a professor of epidemiology at Université de Montréal. Young people have become the new vectors as the virus finally stopped raging through the province's seniors' homes. In Canada, the 20 to 39 age group accounted for 60% of new cases this week, and almost one-third of them had to be hospitalized. I must urge all Canadians, particularly younger adults, to not give in to COVID-19 fatigue, said Theresa Tam, Canada's chief public health officer. On Thursday, younger age groups are not invincible against COVID-19. The increase is clearly related to some types of more risky environments and behaviors that we've identified, Kaiser said. We talked about bars, but we are starting to see things like gyms and sporting events where it's the nature of the activity, with higher respiration rates generating more particles that have greater risk. An increase in testing, with more than 16,000 Quebecers screened in one day on 2 occasions this month, is also a factor in higher case counts. As long as Quebec doesn't see exponential growth, as happened in its seniors' residences, it should be able to contain outbreaks through careful screening and contact tracing. Kaiser said. As long as citizens cooperate by following directives, it's the shape of the infection curve that determines our fate. Quach said. If we see that it continues to rise and that the rise becomes steeper, at that point, we will have to reconfine some sectors. I am hoping that having everyone wear a mask indoors in public places will slow things down. Collecting detailed data on where outbreaks are occurring can help the government pinpoint problem sectors without having to reconfine large portions of the populations. Strumpf said. Quebec's experience with the reopening of schools, daycares and day camps over the last 3 months are encouraging, with no major outbreaks recorded despite thousands of children in those environments. Kaiser said. The risks and benefits of reopening schools must be weighed differently than those of opening bars or gyms. He said. If infection rates in the latter start to threaten the reopening of schools, they will have to be shut down. Despite the complications, Strumpf believes Quebec has the competency to reopen its schools safely. The question is whether our current actions will allow it. It's summer. We're all tired of being home. We're all wanting to be socializing a little more, she said. But to the extent that we are enjoying our summer vacation, will that mean that schools are less likely to reopen? I think that's potentially a real significant cost of this collective breath that we're all taking right now. Text source, MontrealGazette.com. Thanks. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Leave your comments below. See you soon for more News B. Bye bye.